Good morning, evening, afternoon, midnight. I'm not sure where you are in the world. But today we're going to be diving into how to take the headaches out of relationships. So I literally just got off the phone about an hour ago with one of my clients diving into his relationship. And he was saying how he was struggling massively. They were arguing loads, not going well. They're on a knife edge. What do they do? And let me share some of the things that I shared with him, and then I'll share with some of the content that I planned as well. Because I think it's nice to hear from other people's experiences, as well as just content that I like to share with you guys that I think you'll find useful. So the first thing is that he was doing a lot. And in your relationship now, you may be doing a lot, like working really, really hard. You're giving a lot to your relationship. For him, he was saying, look, I dive into MVC, nonviolent communication, and I understand how to do this nonviolent communication. I'm breathing, and I'm making sure that I breathe so I don't get stressed when she's speaking to me, and I take a deep breath because I don't want to overwhelm myself. And then sometimes when she's speaking, I write stuff down, so I'm doing as much as I can. But I feel like I'm putting so much into the relationship, but she's just not reciprocating it. So what I was sharing with him is, let's imagine this picture is a target. Now he is just hitting the wall every time. He's not hitting the target. He's not hitting the target. He's just hitting the wall every single time. Why? Because the strategies clearly aren't working. And when we go into relationships, the reason we get a headache is that we do so much, but it's not what our partner needs at all. So instead, you've got to do something different. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Quote from Einstein. Okay, so how do we... I can't believe I just did that. That's hilarious. What am I doing? I don't know. So how do we shift that? The way to shift it isn't to keep doing the same thing because it's not working. Right, what I was telling him is it's presence that he needs to show to his lady. Because if he's doing all these things, he's not being present in the conversation. He's trying to analyze her and fix her and work out what's going on and find better ways to communicate. No, just listen. So that's why I said you just need to listen. You need to be present. So the analogy that I gave him is being a mountain. So be a mountain and allow your other half, and in this case it was a woman, to share with him everything that's going on. Right? Because if you're always trying to fix it, and he was using words, and it's important to be aware of your language about attacking. I felt like she was attacking me. I felt like she was emotionally unloading everything on me. It was a bunch of negativity. If this is how you look at it as a man in a relationship, we're going to have issues. You need to think that you are her provider, her emotional guide. You are the person there to help her understand what's going on and to listen to. You don't need to fix her problems. You just need to listen. Trust me, the amount of times that I've spoken to my girlfriend, and when I mean speak, I mean go, tell me more. For 3 hours. This is no exaggeration. 3 hours. And then, I just feel so much better. It's crazy. So often, the way to take the headache out of the relationships is to do the opposite of what you're doing at the moment. Instead of trying so hard at all these strategies, do something different so you can actually hit the target. So those were some of the things that I shared with him that I thought was really powerful. Now, let me go on to actually some of the stuff that I plan for this. So in relationships, you've got to think about this. You have chosen out of billions of people in the world to be with this person. So why are you focusing on what is wrong with them? Like, the human mind always looks for things that are wrong. Why are you focusing on what's wrong with them? If you've chosen them out of billions of people, then they are perfect the way they are, and you can shut them up. Because if you keep blaming and saying, oh, there's things wrong with them, right, you can't pick someone and say you're going to love them and then start complaining about, oh, dickhead, yeah, it does this, oh my God. Why? If you, just think about this. It would be like picking a food to eat out of every single thing in the entire world, getting the food that you've chosen. You've chosen this food above everything else. You have chosen this type of food, and then as you eat it, you start complaining about it. Right? What would you say to someone if they did that? I really like that analogy. I'm going to use that again. Point mentioned. Okay, so let's say you did that. People would think you're an absolute arsehole. Like, why would you do that? You've got so much choice. However, we get into our patterns and we hit the wrong thing. So instead, focus on what's right. Move into gratitude and think about what you're grateful for your partner to have. Because if you've got a headache, I guarantee that you're focusing on what's wrong with them. So next is, let me focus on women a little bit here. So women tend to, and this is obviously in general, women tend to criticize men, generally speaking. Why do I say this? Because it is, as women look after children, they need to look at what is wrong. Don't do that. Don't eat this. Don't touch that. Don't run there. They're always looking for things that are wrong so they can keep the child safe. Now, what happens is they use that strategy with their man. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. And they criticize their man and he becomes smaller. The way in which to build a better relationship and to move the headaches out of it is to move away from criticism and move into praising. Positive encouragement. It's fantastic. If you use positive encouragement time and time again, your relationship will change because you're not focusing on the negativity stuff. So I like to say this, is that treat men kind of like how you treat a dog. And what I mean by this is praise it, positively encourage it. We're very simple creatures. We really are. Just praise, positive encouragement. Praise what you want to see more of. You'll see more of it. Very simple. But what happens is a lot of women criticize so angrily, but when men do stuff right, they won't say anything. So you need to switch your thinking, and if you choose to do that, trust me, your life will be completely different. Now, for men, a lot of the times, men always want to be right. And I've got to tell you guys, you can either be right or you can be in a relationship. Because the reason you've got a headache is that you want to be right. But let me tell you, I'm sure you've had times when you're right and you still feel shit. And you've proven them right, but then what? Right? You need to have a relationship. And it's not about being right or wrong. It's building a relationship with someone who you really, really care about. So when people get headaches in relationships, what often happens is they go on something called a crazy cycle. What I mean by this is that you'll keep butting heads, right? Someone will say one thing, someone will say another thing, and you say, how could you say that to me? What do you mean? Why would you speak to me in that tone? And you start, apparently these are two people battling it out. They can love each other too. So how do you get over this crazy cycle when it starts going up? You've got to interrupt the pattern. So in order to take the headache out of relationships, I'm going to share some very funny, very authentic, real things that I do with my girlfriend as examples. And I'll share some things that my clients do as well. So let's say you're in an argument. One of my clients immediately goes and makes a coffee for his wife, gives her a coffee, and sits down with her. And that's how he centers himself. For myself, when me and my girlfriend argue, one of the things that we do now, and this is absolutely ridiculous, is that I will lick her face if she interrupts me, and she'll do the same. Why? Because it's a ridiculous way in which to express that you're annoyed. It's very funny, and it definitely changes our state. And I know it's utterly ridiculous, but you've got to think about this. Do you want to be ridiculous and have fun and have a passionate relationship because you're interrupting negative patterns? Or do you want to carry on doing what you're doing? I mean, I would pick ridiculous any day. Other things that you can do, right? Just say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, and keep saying it to interrupt your pattern. You say, I love you so much, I love you so much right now, I've got no idea what to do, I just love you. And even though you're angry, you just keep saying I love you, and it will change your state. So there's different ways to do it. What I really want you to take from this is that we often have a headache when we believe things are happening to us and we're suffering inside. And ultimately, we're taking what's going on around in our environment and we're making it mean something negative towards us. Instead, choose to look outside of yourself and choose to give. Think about, how can I make this person feel more loved? How can I choose to look after this person as opposed to always thinking about myself? Now, you need to fill yourself up emotionally, resourceful, like physical, and look after yourself. But you don't need to be obsessed and always focus on yourself and they did that to me and they're doing this negative things to me. Be very careful of the meanings that you give things, and it will allow you to live a more fulfilled life and have less headaches as a result. With that said, I really hope you can create a passionate relationship. Relationships are so much fun when you get them right. They're hilarious, they're ridiculous. Arguments will occur, it doesn't matter, you make up and really have fun, and I look forward to speaking to you very soon.